The PlayStation 5 Pro has been on pre-order for a couple days at this point. And for those of you that don't normally know how this goes, most of the time when these consoles go on sale, especially brand new consoles, you know, these mid-gen refreshes are a little different, but they generally follow the same path. These scalpers go above and beyond everywhere, and they snatch all of them. Now, they have been putting more stuff up to prevent this, from where you can only buy one per person, which most of the time there's programs that people use to get around that. There's a lot of things that goes into these pre-orders. And most of the time, just the hype alone gets that first set out there, that first couple million that they produce for the pre-orders. PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X, given it was a pandemic, but those platforms, those consoles were nowhere to be found for essentially, it felt like years. And I think a lot of people would agree on that. It was so long before you could just walk into a store and pick one up. The Switch had the same issue multiple times where you was going to eBay and paying the extravagant amount from secondhand market just to get your hands on one of these consoles. And not going to lie, a lot of people thought the PlayStation 5 Pro is going to be no different. One of the biggest things that I feel like made it stood apart from its counterparts and from its, you know, predecessors was that $699 price tag. That is a lot of money to be asking the casual consumer. And I get it. This is for like the hardcore. No one's going to deny that. Most of the time, people that buy stuff like this, it's because they already own a PlayStation 5 and they just want to play their games at a better fidelity. And that's generally how these things go. But even with that being said, I don't remember the PlayStation 4 Pro being this open to pre-order a few days after launch. Let's go over here to the PlayStation's website. As you can see, I got that sucker right here. Right here. I can pick this out right now. This thing launched on like the 26th. A whole weekend has went by and you can still pre-order the sucker. I want to be very clear. This doesn't normally happen. I don't want people going and taking this video and trying to word it in a way where it sounds like we're talking about some console war stuff, because we're not. Mainly this video shows that $699 price tag isn't even wanted by the higher up people, by the enthusiast people, by the people that live and breathe the PlayStation. Are there still some that's going to pick it up because they want that better fidelity? Of course. But I think if anything, this shows you give us a console for $699. Keep in mind, it was the console. Sure, it had 2 terabyte, and I think we can be very open to making a 2 terabyte with this. It didn't come with the stand, which is insane because this is a premium product, and it doesn't come with the stand. It also didn't come with a disk drive. $700 doesn't come with the disk drive. Now, I will say, in terms of how they're handling the disk drive, I'm for it. A lot of people like myself, as you could see, I have a disk drive here on this Xbox Series X. I never used this sucker. I bet you if I took this out, let's see what's in here right now. I bet you it's a DVD or something. Yes, it is literally the Hero Season 2 disc. So right there just shows you that, like, look, most people don't use these disk drives anyway. So I'm happy that they're coming in off the gate at the entry and say, look, if you want that disk drive, we will make it in a way where you could just hook that sucker up, slap it in, and it looks like it would normally look like if it did have a disk drive. I actually feel like Microsoft needs to go that direction with the Xbox Series S and X their successors. I think that is a huge bonus thing that needs to be kind of more mainstream. You know, you got like a little add-on that you just plop onto your console and it will let you do disk drives. Because I feel like if it's used to either make the system better, which it looks like the PlayStation 5 Pro, you know, now since they don't have to worry about a disk drive being manufactured onto the pricing point, they can put that money into places where it matters. I'm not really too much against them on the disc. I'm against them on that vertical slice, that vertical stand. Because if you look, every single place PlayStation advertises the PlayStation 5 and 5 Pro. How? Vertical. It's always standing up. Every commercial, that bastard's standing up. But when it comes to you actually wanting to do that, you can't, because you have to spend an extra $30 to stand that sucker up. I have a PlayStation 5, and I don't use the stand. I just put it on. I have it vertical regardless with the stand. I don't know if that's like, if that can hurt the console or anything. Maybe you guys can, you know, elaborate in the comment section below if that can hurt my console. But me, I don't use the stand, and I also don't need to go buy one. I do know these PlayStation 5 and the iteration that came after the launch of the PlayStation 5, the Slim, and the PlayStation 5 Pro are a little smaller. So I'm kind of curious if you could even do that with the current design that's going on. And if you can't, did PlayStation design it that way just so you would have to buy a vertical slant if you wanted to sit this console vertical? I don't know, man. I don't know. See, here's the thing. This isn't about a PlayStation thing. This isn't about an Xbox thing. This is about a consumer thing. Us as consumers cannot let these companies know that we're willing to spend $700 on any damn thing, on a console. Look, I get it. You know, there's handhelds. I get it. PCs are expensive. I got a really strong PC. But at the end of the day, even with all that in mind, I don't want next gen going into with a $700 price tag just to get in the door. Now, obviously, I can sit here and I can tell you that I can look at the audience and say, my name's Addict, Gaming Addict, and if PlayStation or Xbox try to finesse me into paying $700 for next-gen hardware, you know, out the gate, I'm not talking about mid-gen refresh, it's just whatever the PlayStation 6 is and whatever, you know, Xbox decides their name, their next thing, Xbox Series X version 2 or whatever. I can sit here and tell you I wouldn't, you know, support that by buying it, but I would. Because I'm still going to want to play the games. And even though I'm going to be frustrated, I'm going to have to make those moves. And that's why part of me is glad that this console is not being successful. Because it shows PlayStation and Microsoft one thing. We don't mind a $499 price tag. We don't like it, but we don't mind it. But that's all. You missed me with this $700 thing. When it is sad that when people were describing what the PlayStation 5 Pro could be, no one in their rightful mind said $700. They stopped at like $600, or some said $650, which you don't normally see consoles unless it's like a bundled version be end with $50. I feel like they rather try to get that extra $50 because like there's some psychology from, you know, charging $650 to $699. You know, we would look at that and still see a lot of money, but I guess a lot of people look at that, you know, psychology wise, it's like in the same bucket. It's when you start dropping between 100s, when you go from $699 to $799, because they see that extra digit switch up. A lot of people only really realistically pay attention to that first and second digit. They don't really pay attention to anything after that. So I think that's why most of the time these companies are going to try to wiggle their way into having that extra $50. But I'm glad, man. I'm glad. Look, I'm not saying that these consoles can, you know, sell these console manufacturers can sell these consoles at these absurd prices. I'm just saying the market's clearly saying we ain't doing that. And I'm proud of us, man, because most of the time we don't do this. Now, obviously, this could be completely jumping the gun. And when this sucker comes out, everyone's scalping the hell out of it. You can't figure it out anywhere. And I hope that's not the case. And it might be the case. You know, people might want to see the improvements and feel the improvements at like your local GameStop or something before they go out there and drop $700 on anything. That might be the case. But I will say what is good for me is the pre-orders aren't doing the greatest. And I think a lot of that isn't necessarily to do with people are burnt out on PlayStation. I think it's that $7.99 price tag. If they could have got this to like $5.99, even though I think that still would have got them a little bit of hate, $6.99 is mind-blowing. Especially with no vertical stand and no disk drive. If they were able to take the hits on those individual parts, maybe this would have been a little bit of an easier sell. But they're literally asking you to go out and buy a $6.99 premium product, and then they're asking you to spend an extra $30 on a vertical stand to use it the way that is advertised. And then on top of that, they're like, yeah, drop another 80 bones for the disk drive if you want to touch media, physical media, which I don't think a lot of people do. It's definitely the minority. I do think that there's more of an even split than people think, but I feel like more people are willing to go digital than a lot think. But anyway, tell me what you guys think in the comment section below. I'm very curious your guys' opinion on this. Like I said, I've never been the kind of person to come on here and tell you I want something to fail. But for this particular thing, with this particular price tag, I ain't gonna front to you. PlayStation 5 Pro, it needs to flop just to send a statement that us as consumers will not stand behind a $700 price tag. But anyway, put in the comment section below what you guys think. If you guys enjoyed this video, you can always sub to the channel. We make weekly content on here. Definitely follow me on Twitter at LordAddictILP. If you enjoyed the video, you can always like it. I will be streaming the Starfield expansion on Addict Arena in the description below. We'll probably be talking about this PlayStation 5 Pro thing in there as well. But anyway, without any further ado, you guys have a fantastic day. Have a good one. Man, it's this PlayStation 5 Pro thing crazy. It's crazy.